welcome to my Scrappin' Space. I'm Joni Martin. I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator located in Southwest Wisconsin. And I'm here to share with you some of the prettiest papers in the new annual catalog. So let's get my face out of the way and get started here. There we go. So the suite is called Thoughtful Journey. It actually has two papers in it. And it is in your catalog on pages 46 and 47. It includes a stamp set, a die, two paper packs, and some pretty little pearls. So let's look at the beautiful board that Amy made us. See these papers that have a bit of a sheen to them and that design? That's the 12 by 12 paper pack. The 6 by 6 paper pack look like this. Just gorgeous. This is one of the suites I'm featuring this month for our May cards, and it's been so much fun designing with them. This is one of my favorites. They're just beautiful. This one I think you could use for a Christmas card. This is one we're using for our card today. They are so pretty. In addition, it has, moving things out of the way here, these pretty little pearls that add a little bit of glimmer. Let's see if I can get them closer. There we go, that's a better view. So they come in 3 colors, plus these dies. So they coordinate with here. So they have these images, and Amy has stamped and colored them for us. And then they also have, which I've seen on a lot of cards and it's really popular with people, look at this beautiful die cut. There's this one. This is the one that catches my eye. And this one, I could see a little mix and match and some leaves there. The stamp set itself, you know, I love a good font. And this is beautiful. This says, dearest friend, thinking of you fondly. Thanks, can't have too many of those. Missing you, you make life better, and I appreciate you. So it's a great set. Let's look at what we're going to do with it. Sometimes when you have a beautiful paper, you can add a little more interest just by cutting it, just in terms of like separating it. And that's what we did for this one. And of course, we added some embossing. We are heading to Chicago next weekend for a funeral for my cousin, and this is for her family. So let me show you how easy that card comes together. Let's first talk about the 6 by 6 paper, which would be really helpful if I had it here. I'm like, what did I do with that? Here's one. So this is where we're starting. And we're going to attach it to a mat. And it's a standard mat size of 4 by 5 1/4. And I could just put it on there and emboss it, and that would be fine. But it catches your eye a little bit when you just do something as simple as that. So here's how we're going to do it. We're going to cut this down to the length of this, which is 5 1/4. And of course, if your design went the other way, you would just turn it around. So we're doing, the mat is 4 by 5 1/4. We'll trim off that piece. Then, starting from this edge, because that's where the larger part of the design is, I'm cutting 3 pieces that are 1 1/4. 1, 2, 3. And then for the inside of my card, I want one more piece that's 1 inch. And I'm actually cutting, I'm going to keep these in order. See how they come together like that? So I'm going to stack them in order and move them over here. I'm going to actually cut from this side because it's a little taller and I think it adds more interest to the card. And this is only 1 inch. And this is another piece that can go away. We'll save that for the inside. And then, remember we had these in order, like this. So see how they come together like that? We're going to glue them very lightly because we're next going to emboss. And when you emboss, of course, you're putting a lot of pressure on that paper. Too much glue is going to come out and get on the embossing folder. So when I have to glue things and try to get even spaces, I start with the end. So I'm going to glue each side this is going to line up right with the edge there. And you could do this on all kinds of colors. This happens to be our new Petunia Pop, and that's one of the colors in there, but I could have picked one of the greens, the blues. When you have this much color, you have a lot of choices. This is my middle piece. That's getting set aside for a minute. And now this piece, just a little bit. And come on, paper, behave. There we go. That's going to get all the way to the end here. So then I don't have to figure out equal spaces for like all these papers. I only have to figure out equal spaces for the middle one. So now, oops, not that one. Now I just have to center this one, which makes it so much easier for me. There we go. Okay, I'm going to give that glue a second to set up. I used a new punch here I want to share with you. And there we go. I'm filming in one section of my space and crafting in another, and things don't always get transferred over. Okay, this is a brand new punch, and what I like is we have 2 sets in the catalog that you can choose as your bundle, either a punch or a die. And isn't that great to have that flexibility? Let me show you those. Right here. So I'm using this one called Label with Love. Let's see if I can bring that in. There we go. So that's great. I can order it as a bundle with the punch, or if I order it with the dies, I can do it 3 times. My favorite, if you've watched some of my other ones, lives or videos, or just by looking at my catalog, is the tab one. I use that all the time, and I'm going to be using it on some scrapbooks and some cards. But again, I could choose it as a punch or a die. So that's really helpful. All right, I want to give you a second and look at the difference between this card and this card. Look what embossing does. It almost gives it more of like painted on canvas look than just flat. You can use any overall embossing folder. My new favorite is Dashing Designs. So we're going to put this in here, and guys, I'm going to take just a second. We used it in class this week already, and it looks like we have a little glue I missed. So just a wet wipe. We'll get that off. I have glue on the front too, but I don't care about that. So let's move our stuff out of the way and grab the cut and emboss. I move my paper when I'm going to cut and emboss because the legs grip the table better than they do paper. Whoops, sorry, things are flying. When I get a new embossing folder, I add the name and this, what we call the sandwich, which plates I need. I always need plate 1, which is here. And then I'm going to put this in my embossing folder. I'm going to use the line. I'm just trying to get, there we go. The Stampin' Up kindly gave me at the bottom. I'm going to make sure the Stampin' Up logo's on top, that it's fold first, and always, always, whether I'm cutting or embossing, there's a plate on top. That protects what I'm working on, and it protects the machine. And then it just rolls through. Sorry guys, just like that. I don't usually roll this sideways, but I wanted you to be able to see it. Okay, that's all we're going to need our cut and emboss machine for. Oh, things are shifting. I have a whole bin of plates next to it, so there. And that's all it took. Now, on the back, you can see the design, but on the front, it just melds to an overall design. And honestly, I think it's so pretty. So then, when I have these kind of what almost feels like wildflowers, I think twine is my best option. So I'm going to grab our linen thread and a bit of tear and tape. And I'm going to wrap this around 3 times. And I did it about 3/4 of an inch up. So this is how I do that from there. We're just going to lay that out. Now the twine comes wrapped around that spool, so sometimes it wants to be a little curly, but we'll pull it in. So I go up 3 squares. That's 3/4 of an inch. And then I lay the twine on that solid line because that's where the 3/4 is measuring from. And I'm going to tape it down. And then making sure I'm still straight, I'm going to tape it down right here too. Now I know I have a piece going across the front that is 3/4 of an inch. I'm going to peel the backing off like that, and then I'm going to wrap it around till I have 3 lengths on the front, or 3 widths. See how it looks like that? And I just grabbed my silicone mat just in case. And by ripping off that tear and tape, it caught my twine each time. There we go. Scissors. And then I have a card base that is also Petunia Pop. And I'm just going to glue that flat on there. With an embossed surface, it's just easier to use like a liquid glue than try to get a tape runner. That kind of just floats on the top and doesn't always adhere the way you want. And this goes right on there. Now my sentiment is with Heartfelt Sympathy. That comes from one of the Country Woods pieces, one of the stamp sets in that suite. I'm going to punch, so I'm going to punch from the back to make sure that I kind of have it land where I want it. And I'm going to, I don't know if you can tell, but this one's a little wonky because I put the dimensionals, right in the center. That's not going to work for this one. So instead, we're going to grab some minis and we're going to put a row top and bottom, and that will adhere it flatter. I can go back in and throw something under there to fix that one. But there. I was just thinking it would go right over the ribbon, but it didn't quite, or twine. It didn't quite land that way. So, and these little minis are easy. I'll just stick a couple of those under there and that will then hold it back in place correctly. Take that off. There we go. We're going to show those backings. Who's boss? This paper pack is stunning and it really does do all the work for you. Oh, let's have the saying go the right way though, guys. What do you think? There we go. I mean, that's beautiful, and that's really all you need. So let's look quick at the inside. I say quick because I'm having a little trouble with my iPad today, and it's telling me again it's low on power. It's been charging, but this is going to go right here. Now, I often put a strip across the top, but I just felt with this, with the way the print went, the little strip of blue at the top would be kind of lost. Like it wouldn't really, you wouldn't get the connection to the card. And that's the point of that, is that you're putting this piece of paper on the inside to bring the front of your card to the inside. And that's going to go there. And because I'm using the liquid glue, I can kind of move it around till it gets where I want it. We'll let that set. And then I took another strip, and I can get 2 envelope flaps out of one 6x6 with some left over. And we're going to put this beautiful paper on there. I feel like this card is perfect for what I want for a sympathy card for my cousin's family. You could also certainly do a birthday greeting or something else on there. And I didn't go with the same color here because I felt like I wanted it to stand out a little bit more. Because it's Stampin' Up, they told me what other colors were in the paper. And so I could just grab a coordinating print. So that will go here. There. And again, this is Thoughtful Journey in the new annual catalog. If you don't have the new catalog, reach out to your Stampin' Up demonstrator. They'd love to get you one. And if you don't have a Stampin' Up demonstrator, let me know. I'd love to have you get you a catalog. I can mail them, or if you're in Southwest Wisconsin, you can pick one up. Look what happens when you put this in with that print on there. It just really, like, kind of makes the inside come alive too, doesn't it? There we go. Thoughtful Journey. Thanks for watching. It means more than I can say. Until next time, take care and keep crafting. It's good for you.